Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Chronicles from the Crypt.
Welcome back to... Oh, no.
Boy, you got this on lock.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Chronicles from the Crypt, our twice-monthly look at the HBO television series Tales from the Crypt. I am Father Malone.
And this is Casualty Chris. And on Chronicles from the Crypt, you notice we've switched this up a little bit. On Chronicles from the Crypt, we talk about 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt. However, this episode is a little different. We are currently in between Season 2 and 3. A thoroughly lackluster Season 2, I would say, unfortunately, for the most part.
Very bad.
But we're not starting Season 3 just yet. We're going to be talking about, this is another bonus episode, we're going to be talking about 1973's The Vault of Horror.
Vault of Horror.
Which has more Tales from the Crypt stories in it than actual Vault of Horror stories, but...
Yeah, and just like the Tales from the Crypt movie that Amicus made, which had mostly Vault of Horror stories, now they've made a Vault of Horror movie with mostly Tales from the Crypt stories. And either way, both of these movies have more Tales from the Crypt story, or Tales from the Crypt stories than the actual television series Tales from the Crypt.
Which is fine, because... I don't know, is it fine? It's kind of weird, right?
It's actually more disturbing the further we get into the series.
It's like a catch-all. Like, Tales from the Crypt is just the catch-all title for, like, Vault of Horror.
Yeah, any EC comics that they feel like they're going to do. I'm sure they could throw in some true romance and some weird science. And
well, they did their own show.
They did, didn't they? Yeah, but very, very briefly. I don't think they even folded those into the Tales from the Crypt.
No, but we'll talk about that when we get to it, because we're going to do a bonus episode on that. Because that's like, oft forgotten. And the Two-Fisted Tales was another thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Those did get folded into Tales from the Crypt, which makes less sense than Weird Science.
Yeah,
but
because those are like yellow. The King of the Drive, what's that one called?
King of the Road.
King of the Road. With Brad Pitt.
Yeah, which you have to say, because that's the only reason anyone remembers it.
That's the only and that's the only reason anyone watches it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's an okay story.
But it's not great.
But it does have Brad Pitt.
But it does. So let's talk about Vault of Horror.
Yes, indeed. The spiritual sequel, actually it's just a direct sequel to the Amicus film Tales from the Crypt, which I guess did well enough that they were like, let's do this again.
It's also known as Further Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Crypt 2.
Really?
Other titles, yeah. Otherwise known as Vault of Horror, Further Tales from the Crypt.
What a terrible, terrible title.
Further Tales from the Crypt?
Further, more, faster.
The Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad?
Yeah. Oh, now it's the. Oh, okay. Right.
I forgot.
The Predator.
Yeah, right. No. We got to put it in front, and it's a completely different movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not to confuse people.
That's what articles do. They change it up.
Oh, you seen Predator? You mean Predator or The Predator?
Oh, no. I'm only talking about Predator. I've not been privy to The Predator.
You seen Tales from the Crypt or Further Tales from the Crypt?
Further is what I enjoyed.
This movie was also known as Vault of Horror without the.
Just Vault of Horror.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
What the fuck? 3 different titles for this fucking movie. It's interesting.
Oh, so you didn't like it?
No, it's not bad.
Do you think Tales from the Crypt is a better film than this film?
I think Tales from the Crypt has a better has a better standout segment. Don't you?
Oh yeah, But then that particular segment, I think we agreed, is better than 90% of the actual television series Tales from the Crypt. So that was Poetic Justice, the one with Peter Cushing. Was amazing. None of the stories here have that level of pathos to them, but these are fun, a bit predictable. Given the...
Do we just want to talk about each of them?
Yeah, you might as well.
So the framing device this time is not a tour in a cave.
In a catacomb.
Yeah, it's the setup of the movie Devil.
Yes, effectively.
Yeah.
This one just begins with 5 gentlemen each getting into an elevator, hitting the ground floor button, and then ending up in the sub-basement.
There is no sub-basement in this building.
You're right. So
Oh, yes, there is.
when the sub-basement opens, this is what I love about it. The elevator doors open, and it's an octagonal, like, sitting room.
With no exit.
Yeah, no exit, and just marble everything. And at the center, there are 5 chairs, and a table, and
Place settings for 5.
and a nice drink cart.
Yeah.
And so rather than be like, hey, how do we get back upstairs?
They're like, let's just sit and talk about...
Might as well enjoy this.
Let's talk about our dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Dreams.
right.
Let's talk about our dreams.
Not the best framing device for an anthology series where, yes, each of the characters says, oh, this reminds me of a dream I had. Oh, really? Tell us all about it. Because that's
pray tell.
That's exactly what I say to anyone who starts to tell me about that, the weird dream that they had. Please tell me everything about your super personal psyche.
Yeah. Your dreams are not as exciting to everyone else as they are to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first story is Midnight Mess.
Midnight Mess.
Which comes from Tales from the Crypt.
Yes. And
Tales from the Crypt number 35.
Very supernatural tale, this one.
Christ.
Oh, I like this one a lot.
When it got to the point that it was vampires,
yeah,
I was like, man, I was not expecting some, like, Universal Monsters type shit in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine because, I mean, in the show, which, I mean, is adapting all kinds of EC stuff, they do have vampires.
Yeah.
Several times, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But you're not down for just traditional vampire tales.
I wasn't expecting it.
Well, that's good, right? That's what Tales from the Crypt is all about.
Yeah. Twists, man!
Uh-huh.
Those twists are crazy! So this guy goes and finds his sister and kills her so that she can get his inheritance because he was left nothing.
Right. But, he's had to track her down using a private investigator. Whom he murders immediately, which at first it seems he's killing him just to get the money that he was giving to the guy to have found the sister, so he can keep that money, but it's not. It's so that nobody can know that he's going to go kill his sister. And the private eye rather ominously tells him she's in a very weird town. Yeah. And he gets to the town.
One might even say, don't go out after dark.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, fucking come on.
Yeah, he gets to the town and his sister's unavailable. The sun is still shining, but the townsfolk are like, you should get out of here. The sun's almost going down. And he goes
Everything is open after dark.
Yeah, he goes to a restaurant which is closing. It's only 7. But then he's sort of forced back out on the street, finds his sister, stabs her to death after telling her that she had received the entire inheritance of their father's fortune. And then he goes to the restaurant, which is now open and jam-packed with customers.
All who are looking a little peaked. They're definitely using some of that white makeup.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and they all kind of look like Bela Lugosi. Or like
there was one guy prominently displayed,
like the high arch on the hair.
Oh, the widow's peak.
Yeah, and then they jam a spigot into his neck, which, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, no, the best part is that he sits down for like a 5-course meal and he's drinking tomato juice. This is tomato juice.
Oh yes, quite. And Bloody Mary, my dear.
And he's drinking some soup, which is a very unusual taste. And
it tastes like the juice, doesn't it?
Yeah. For your main course, sir, do you want your clots roasted? Roasted blood clots, sir.
Which is fucking disgusting.
It is really gross. But then, but the effect when they... Like, everyone, first of all, if they're vampires, should have known there was a human among them, right? Isn't that the deal? But, like, this has given him away.
Man doesn't look as we do.
They still don't... they're still not convinced he's a human until they reveal the mirror, which shows the room completely empty except for the guy, because only he's casting a reflection.
You know that he was around vampires when they're eating all that blood?
Maybe not. Maybe he's just so high.
If you were there, would you be like, why does this taste like blood? And this tastes, oh, no.
I don't know. I think I might be so high on murder...
I am high on murder.
That I don't know that I necessarily would have immediately recognized my fellow restaurateurs as vampires. But the effect of the mirror, I think, is really good, actually.
Yeah, but then it's...
I mean, it's total theatricality.
Then it's coupled with a fucking atrocity of an editing job.
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of cuckoo, where the guy's sister shows back up, and now we find out she's a vampire. I'm not sure why she died when he stabbed her to death, but...
She's faking her own death.
Faking her death, I guess, yeah. But...
Gotta bait the hook.
Yeah, now... The spigot notwithstanding, let's just talk about the teeth on the vampires are fucking horrible.
They look like rabbit teeth.
Yeah, if that, they're just like spindly fangs that they clearly are just holding in their mouths,
It's just with just the friction of their mouth.
Yeah, just like, and they're like saber-toothed tiger teeth almost, like protruding down their chin.
We might even be underselling how stupid these things are.
Yeah, they look really bad.
They're really bad, like in a way that I was not prepared for. I wasn't prepared for how stupid they looked. I really wasn't.
So the sister shows back up, and now the guy's off screen, and they're clearly filling their glasses with his blood, and they're drinking it, and then they cut to the shot of him, which is a still frame with where the spigot should be sticking out of his neck and a glass underneath being filled with blood is completely cut out. It's just black. Because at the time, it was deemed too horrible and needed to be excised from the film. But rather than just cutting away, they left a still frame in there to, I guess, approximate it, to give you the idea of what it's supposed to be.
Give you your money's worth.
But Jesus Christ, it's like...
It's so distracting and bad.
Yeah.
It's actually astounding that they weren't just like, let's just cut it out.
And the other astounding thing is that it remained in every print of the movie
until 2013.
Until 2013, I guess. Shout Factory?
Yeah, Scream Factory.
Scream Factory.
That's what Shout Factory's like horror genre.
Yeah.
Thing.
They evidently have restored it. Now, I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times. I've seen stills of what the scene actually looks like, so I'm actually going to hunt it down myself and pick it up because I want to see it as it was intended. And they do it again a little bit later with just another still frame.
In the next story.
The very next story,
next story. I think the story's okay.
It was good. I don't know. It was quick and to the point. Didn't overstay its welcome.
Quick and to the point, yeah. More or less.
Episode 2. This is featuring Terry Thomas, the always
the neat job.
Yeah, he's the neat job.
Can't you do anything neatly?
No, is this this is not a Tales from the Crypt, I'm guessing.
Story.
There you go. Makes sense. Nothing supernatural going on here.
No, just so it's essentially collection completed, but instead of it being an obsession with pets, the guy is obsessed with tidiness.
Yeah, I mean, this is a story about older people. They're in their 50s, maybe pushing 60s, and he's lived alone his entire life, and now has decided to settle down. And his wife...
got to find a suitor.
Yeah, his wife and it is played by Glynis Johns, who most people would remember as Mrs. Banks in Mary Poppins, the actual Mary Poppins, not the recent atrocity.
That would be Mary Poppins Revisited.
Oh, yeah.
Rides again. Mary Poppins
rides again.
Mary Poppins 2, Electric Boogaloo, is that what it was called?
Yes, indeed. Glynis Johns was also she was in a couple of mermaid movies in the 40s, which are great, and those names escape me at the moment, but she is fantastic. She's always really good. So she is marrying him also out of convenience because she has no skills and has no job, and her father had taken care of her forever, and he's recently passed, and she has no money of her own. So now she's trapped in this complete OCD neat freak's home who won't allow her to change anything or do anything or spill anything.
She can't do anything neatly. You can't do anything neatly.
Look here in this cabinet. If you have used one spaghetti sauce, you have to check mark
no
that
tomato paste, no spaghetti sauce.
Al dente, of course.
Oh my god. He clicks his fucking teeth together.
Yeah, well, he's very well known for those teeth. He has a large gap between his teeth. Terry Thomas was in Barbarella. He played the character of Duran Duran, who's the very popular musical group from the early 80s, took their name from. He is a very good comedic actor. He's also in a film that's near and dear to my heart called Abominable Dr. Phibes, where he has a scene where he is completely drained of his own blood, which is fantastic. So... I mean, you kind of guess pretty much where the story's going right from the get-go.
Yeah, he gets murdered because she can't do anything neatly.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. And we were talking about this earlier today, why in Tales of the Crypt specifically do people automatically go to murder? It's always the first option.
They're not in a fight. She's just he's like, why can't you do anything neat? And then she buries an axe in his head.
Yeah, well, it's a hammer.
Oh right.
Yeah, she.
I couldn't tell from the still photo that they.
This is the other thing where she hits him in the head with the hammer, but rather than show the blow, it's a still of the hammer on his head as if he's just wearing it like a hat.
And
him
going,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. It's goofy. It's not great.
Yeah, I mean, there is a sequence leading up to it where she's at home and he's on his way home, and she keeps doddering around and messing things up and spilling things, and it's a little over the top, but it is a bit, I thought, actually pretty tense. But
I must keep looking at the clock. When is he home? He's home at 6.
Yes, until oh my God, it just gets crazier and crazier, where she just destroys
everything. It's like Mr. Bean.
Yeah, a very tense Mr. Bean. But I don't know. I think this one's okay. I like these two people, so I kind of went along with it. But the as horrible as the still frame of the missing spigot, that story is much better than this one.
I think it's better than Collection Completed.
Oh yeah, no, undoubtedly.
Right, which is not great, but it's also not great for reasons outside of its own control.
Yeah,
this one doesn't have a fucking dog with LED light eyes, though.
Right, and that
is the best part of Collection.
Right.
Look, it turns on and off.
Oh, man.
This is good. This was good.
Oh, okay. I
thought this was good. I thought, again, I think the big takeaway I have with this is that it's a well done, not over the top, no supernatural stuff. So it fits in the Tales from the Crypt kind of thing.
Much like the
much
like the first Tales from the Crypt movie, none of these play into comedy at all. Like there are no laughs in any of these movies. They're not going for that at all, which is something I appreciate, because it seems like when they do a comedic Tales from the Crypt episode, it's not like they've hired funny people to write them. It's just like
think they know comedy,
right? Like, oh, this would be hilarious because it's so dark, and like we can get away with anything we want.
We'll make Brother's Keeper.
Yeah, or like fucking let's just go over the top. That is the key to comedy in Tales from the Crypt. Apparently, it's like beyond the top, like orbiting the Earth.
Let's not do the horror over the top, though.
No, certainly not.
On a show called Tales from the Crypt.
Why would we do that?
Yeah. Speaking of Tales from the Crypt, let's talk This Trick'll Kill You. Tales from the Crypt number 33. This one features Kurt
Jurgens, yes,
otherwise known as Stromberg from. Which one is it?
Oh, isn't it Spy Who Loved Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I called out. I was like, that guy's from James Bond. And you're like, is he? And I was like, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because he had there's something about his face and it's like his hair. He has that distinct bald pate.
Bald pate with yet a mane.
Yeah, with like a mane of white hair.
Yeah, he's great. So this is about a guy. I guess we're in Morocco. Let's
India.
just. Is it India? Okay. Where he is a magician.
We're giving away the horrible dish is a basket.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, get the great Indian accents that are just
that's
just borderline on this country.
Borderline.
This country was served for many years. Like, oh god.
Not Pankot Palace.
Pankot.
So it's a comedian. He's maybe from England. I don't know. I'm gonna guess he's from England because
he might be, but he is very German.
And his wife / assistant is very American sounding. Yeah. So it's a little. He's there, seeing street performers trying to find the next big trick that's going to put him over the top.
But Kurt Jurgens.
Yes, but the thing is, it's not like he's just looking at tricks and going, no, I've seen that, or that's too easy. He's actively going up to street performers and exposing how their tricks are done.
This is how you do it. Oh, so you got the thing through your face? Oh, no, it's just you're holding this here.
Yeah, and this, and, look at this pieces in your mouth. Clearly,
you're... tell her, you can't fool us, but live and in person.
Yeah, with people, who are depending on that trick, astounding people so that they can have $5 so they can eat something.
Fucking naan-bread for dinner.
Yeah. So he's kind of a cocksucker to begin with. And so he does expose this one guy, and then he goes out the next day, and the street performer who he exposes has an assistant himself who is conveniently found in an alleyway with a basket and a flute, as if it's a snake charming kind of act. But instead of a snake, out comes a rope, which ascends to the ceiling, and then she's able to climb up on it, and
with no wires.
No wires. No, I don't know how you did it.
It's magic. Again, that's his first fucking assumption. It's magic.
His first assumption is it's magic. His second assumption is the only way I can get this trick is murder.
Yeah.
Because he then and then he kills this girl.
Murder.
Oh my Jesus!
Just fucking murder. Which is fine. It's a pulp comic book, but it's just funny as hell.
It's a little weird that every story is predicated on somebody murdering somebody else. As if there's nothing.
But yet here we are. Tales.
I know. Thank God. Right. So he murders this girl, gets the rope, and figures out that if he plays the tune then that she was playing, that the rope will come alive, but of course the rope is alive.
And kills his wife.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
She climbs to the top of the rope to read her the trick. She's like, it is magic. And then she just disappears.
She sees something and screams, which I actually think is a really good effect. Like, she's seeing some weirdo dimension that we don't. Like,
I mean, that's the assumption, right?
Yeah, and that scared me as a kid, and still...
The rope dimension, where everything's made out of rope.
Yeah, it still kind of bothers me to this day. Like, what was she seeing? And then, But
then they have it where he doesn't see it. He just gets hung from the ceiling.
Yeah, well, the rope...
Which I felt was kind of stupid. If you've created a rule that you climb to the top, you die, and then all of a sudden the rope's like, I'm just going to hang you. It's like, what?
Well, there was no way he was climbing that rope. It was not.
Made him climb.
Was not going. Oh yeah, right. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but instead the rope effectively turns into a giant snake, which keeps and I'll say this again. No.
This effect.
When the rope is sort of coiled like it's going to strike, it's clearly hanging on some sort of wires, but you can't see them. It looks really good to me.
You normally can't see fishing wire.
Come on now, you can hardly see the strings. That's my production company, everybody. But when it's attacking him, it's clearly a stagehand off camera, just throwing a rope at this guy.
Look shocked! Blah!
Yeah, it's terrible. Although the sort of whip crack sound that they have going on is nice. Nice touch to it.
But it's a good little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
surprised it never got remade in the show.
I'm really shocked it didn't, considering that they do magic episodes and nothing.
Like 2 or 3.
Yeah, nothing comes close to this one.
Well cooked ham.
Oh yeah, right.
That episode is. That episode's. But you should listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like the only redeeming part of that episode is Billy Zane.
Billy Zane? You like Billy Zane? You're a Billy Zane fan?
I mean, he's good in Demon.
You a zany?
Zaniac?
A Zaniac, sure.
No, I'm not. I'm not a Zane.
Something about Billy Zane really bugs me.
Why?
I don't know, man. He's just so oily.
He just keeps getting confused for Arnold Vosloo. Oh, wasn't Billy Zane the bad guy in The Mummy? No.
Nobody could have been. I mean,
never would have known the difference.
No. Well,
actor doesn't talk anyways.
I like Billy Zane as a performer. I think he's a good actor, and that what you're talking about in Zoolander is really funny.
Yeah.
But there's just something about the guy. I don't know.
It's his eyebrows.
Maybe he's got like what's his name from While You Were Sleeping There, Peter. You know what I'm talking about. He's got those Peter Gallagher eyebrows, which are terrifying.
Oh, yeah, Peter Gallagher. The guy from Orange County, right? The OC.
Oh, was he? Yeah, he was in that, wasn't he? Yeah.
The guy from Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds. Is he in that?
He's the villain in this.
Jesus Christ.
Adam Sandler movies are great. Let's start an Adam Sandler movie podcast.
Yeah, that'll be great. I won't be available.
I'll be anywhere but here.
I'll catch up to you.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'll send you my half.
I'll send help. Okay. So, you want to talk about the next one? Bargain in Death?
Bargain in Death. You bet I do.
Probably the worst bit in the entire movie. It's the one that definitely doesn't hold up very well.
Do any of these hold up?
This one does not hold up.
All right.
From Tom and Jerry, the Corpse Diggers, to...
Yeah, maybe this is the one where they actually attempted comedy, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't work out very well.
No.
Oh, Thor had to kill him. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Okay.
The Gravedigger killed him.
So here's a staple of Tales from the Crypt: a man going to fake his death so he can collect insurance money. But the only way to really do it is to drug yourself into unconsciousness where it's not detectable that you're alive, and then be buried.
As opposed to just pretending you were in a car that blew up or something.
Something like that, Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no other way to do this. We have to do
the way that there could be, the margin for being betrayed is very high.
Yes, because he has a partner who has to dig him up.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, what happens? Oh, he suffocates.
He suffocates to death, and then that guy takes all the money. I wonder if he's going to be left in that coffin.
I wouldn't trust anyone else to do this to me.
No. Now, that in and of itself would be a decent Tales from the Crypt story, but here we go with a twist, because we have two medical students, Tom and Jerry.
No joke. Actually, they're fucking they're so clever.
Who they're not booking enough time with the corpses in order to become surgeons. So
in an episode of Tales from the Crypt, that could have gone the wrong way.
Yeah, you think?
We need this corpse for
medical
for study.
Oh my God! And like my mind went to I went to that place where they're gonna dig this guy up and then vivisect him while he's alive.
I was gonna say they're gonna fuck his corpse.
Oh no! That's you always go to corpse fucking.
But it's Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, but that comic book from 1955 isn't gonna traffic in necrophilia. I mean, they were already pushing the envelope as it was. That one issue would have destroyed EC Comics.
Just don't show it on screen.
Oh my! Yeah, it's just a black, just head to two heads.
We're gonna have necrophilia, and you know we're gonna show all of it, every bit of it in graphic detail.
Oh my god! No, all right. Anyway,
they go to steal his corpse.
And of course he wakes up. But
hilarity ensues.
Yeah, they go running away. But then the gravedigger.
Oh, they go running away, and they run in the front of the street where his partner.
Yeah, his
partner who said he's not going to get him, but is on the only street in town that goes right in front of the cemetery.
Come on, man, suspend disbelief.
No, I can't.
All right, yeah, so that I actually liked that, where they run out into the street. The partner who is absconding with the insurance money swerves to avoid them, crashes the car, and dies. That was great.
In a stereotypically large explosion.
Oh, yeah, because if you run your car even a couple of miles an hour into a tree, it's going to explode.
Violently.
Yeah.
Just violently.
I mean...
And you are dead.
Be careful, everyone.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
And then the gravedigger kills
the guy as he's getting out of the coffin.
Kills a Maitland.
Why?
Because he thought he was a zombie.
He was a zombie.
But he didn't cut his head off, which is why I thought he was going to come back and it was going to be like a disembodied head. It's like, no, he just smashed him over the head.
Yeah, with a crowbar.
I thought it would have been like, no, fuck, like get him in the throat with the thing.
Oh, man.
That would have been the TV show if it had been that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
right?
They would.
Or it would have had like a scene.
It would have been a mutilation.
It had a scene of the gravedigger going, no, and like swinging the shovel and clocking him.
Yeah, it would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been. Isn't there some movie where like they decapitate the zombie and the head's like sitting in the shovel? Or is that My Bloody Valentine?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Where the head's just like, the top half of the head's just like floating around on the shovel?
Yeah, no, that's Day of the Dead, okay. the Romero film where they cut the top of his head off and then they use the shovel to flick it away, but then it lands upside down and the eyes open and keep looking around. It's really creepy. It's a great effect.
This is not a great effect.
Oh, no, this is a terrible effect. This is a terrible segment for the story. You're right. This is absolutely no good.
There's nothing...
Dare I say, garbage?
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
It's not something I would watch again.
No.
So we get to the last segment. The last segment which features Doctor Who, Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, the only Doctor, the fourth Doctor, the Scarf Doctor, the greatest Doctor of all time. Definitely my favorite. It's the one I grew up watching.
Matt Smith is the best one. He's so hot.
Oh, he's so hot.
With that bow
with
tie.
his spindly, gross lankiness. Yeah.
Perfectly coiffed hair.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing gets me going faster than a dorky British man with suspenders.
Absolutely. That clipped accent is what a turn on. Yes, Tom Baker is a painter. He's kind of like an expatriate living in dun dun dun.
Where can you guess voodoo is?
Cuba.
No, ladies and gentlemen. He's in Port-au-Prince.
He's in Haiti, of course.
Haiti.
I wonder what's going to happen.
I wonder if voodoo will be involved.
Couldn't possibly.
And it's voodoo in a way that is so bizarre.
Yes.
I've only ever seen it in something like this.
But this is good, man. I liked it. So,
but the thing is, like, it feels shoehorned in that it's voodoo. It could have been anything.
Yeah, it could have been
just like sell your soul for the ability to paint, or it's like
but then you got to introduce a devil, and
it's so obtuse. That guy could theoretically be the devil.
He should have been the devil.
He could have been Papa Legba.
Ooh, I love me some Papa Legba.
Papa Shango.
Baron Samdi.
Papa Shango's a wrestler.
Okay.
Baron Samdi.
Baron
Papa
Samdi.
Legba.
Yeah.
No, instead it's just nondescript Haitian tribesmen.
Yeah, so he's...
Which, by the way, is that even voodoo? Or is it the tribesmen that are the voodoo? I thought voodoo was like a mix of, like, different beliefs into one.
It sure is.
I know, but they're trying to make voodoo out to be some sort of tribal thing. It's like a mix of, like...
But where else is he supposed to go?
1972 Amicus film, I know.
That's the
correct answer.
Here's the shorthand. Black guy with paint on his face equals voodoo, 1973.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he had just gone Shaka Zulu.
Oh, my.
I mean, it's that level of just, like, no cultural...
Yes.
But it's weird because they have him dip his hand into a pot.
Yes, the hand he paints with, which is...
Put your hand in the pot.
It's great.
The hand you paint with.
I love it.
And then he can paint pictures...
Wait. Yeah, well, no, we got to set this up. Because
there's more setup than this black guy with a pot.
Yeah, man, it doesn't begin with him and with a voodoo priest. It's, he, like I said, he's an expatriate from England. He's living there and, like, painting his portraits and whatever, and a fellow artist is down there visiting and says, I can't believe you're still here. Your work is incredibly popular. Like, it's selling for hundreds of thousands of pounds. because it's England, folks.
Right,
Pounds.
for you Americans.
And it turns out that the gallery owner and his manager and one other third guy, I don't know even what he is.
Denholm Elliott.
Denholm Elliott. Well, Denholm Elliott is the gallery owner.
Dilettante.
Yeah, that's right. Dilettante.
Yeah.
Great character. Oh, so Dickensian. They have conspired to tell him how little his work is worth, so he will sell it to them for nothing, and now they're reselling it for hundreds of thousands. So now he needs revenge, and he's in Hades, so he goes to the voodoo priest.
Who just is, like, happening to sit in a hut somewhere.
Well, that's what you do.
You just sit and wait.
You sit in a hut.
Who is coming to my tent tonight?
Well,
to sell their soul to me.
I've also, I've been pursuing a second career. I think I need to buy myself a hut and just sit in it and wait.
You don't understand? So he gave him what?
Well, he gave him the ability to...
What did he give the voodoo priest?
Yeah, he did. There was no terms.
That's my point. That's the weirdest thing about this episode, is normally it's like, I give you something, you give me something in return. Right.
Well, I guess in this case, the voodoo priest knows that it's going to end.
Heard you ain't got the cash, you pay with your ass. Like, that's what this is. But he's like, he's not paying with anything.
Well, he does, because he's part and parcel to his own talent.
Yeah, but the question is why didn't the voodoo priest be like, I want something from you? It's kind of weird.
It is a little weird, but I actually kind of liked it. I like that he's able to find out on his own what the price is.
This is a little bit like Only Sin Deep. With Leah Thompson?
Yeah.
But without the terms of you don't get it back.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I like the
it's good. I mean, it's a weird setup.
Yeah.
It's like a no-frills setup. And it's a very weird...
It almost needed absolutely zero of the supernatural setup because of the way it continues, where it turns out now anything he draws, if he harms the drawing itself or changes it in any way, then that comes true. So he draws a vase that's sitting in his room, and then he crumples the paper up, and the vase falls off and breaks. And it's not like it happens mysteriously. It's like an actual thing. So like he puts a piece of bread on the ground, draws it, and then erases part of it, and a rat scurries in and eats away that part of it. So I like that
which was good.
Yeah, I like that the supernatural aspect has a real world counterpart affecting it, as opposed to just like he draws a piece of bread, erases it, and then it just disappears.
Just like fades out of it. Yeah.
So he returns to England to get revenge
on those who have wronged him.
Yeah. And so he paints all of their paintings, which are great.
We haven't mentioned the one thing about this, the fact that all of a sudden a picture of him appears as well.
Yeah. And now, did he draw that before?
Did he?
I think so. No, you know what? He's drawing it of himself when...
Right. And so
before he figures out that...
So he can't do anything about it.
Right.
Because if he destroys it...
Then he destroys himself, right? So it's kind of like a picture of Dorian Gray's situation where he has to protect the painting. That's what I said when watching. I was like, is this like the picture of Dorian Gray? Just like it.
Kind of, yeah.
But if Dorian Gray could also draw paintings of other people and then harm that, and then they get harmed. So Denholm Elliott, with probably the greasiest, worst hair of his career.
Pasted down his forehead.
Man, oh man. He always sort of projects a nobility. That ain't this guy in this movie, man. He is a creeper.
Not this time. And so each of the three gentlemen loses their lives in different creative ways.
Look, man, they're pretty great. Like
one guy loses his hand.
Yeah.
Do it like this.
The best thing ever.
His hands in the cutting.
The most terrifying cutting machine I've ever seen. If that is a real thing. Oh my god! Like you turn this crank on the side, and it's just a giant spring-loaded guillotine blade with no safety guards at all.
Clearly.
My God, that thing is a horror. I could have watched that thing for an hour and a half and been terrified.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And the other guy, gets his eyes gouged out?
Yeah, he pops his eyes out, and that's because his wife finds out he's cheating and throws a convenient bottle of acid that they have in their living room into his eyes.
Yes, just a bottle of acid. Used for cleaning, of course.
Of course. I have several right here next to the computer.
Yes, and barrels of acid around here.
Well, just watch your step around me, buddy.
Yeah. You gonna put me in one of those barrels?
Yeah.
Barrel girls.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. And then the third one is Denholm Elliott, which is the one that had the best setup, and then it kind of is a little goofy.
Yeah, it's a drag because they've gone to such great pains to show that these other things are going to affect the outer world influence is going to take into effect. So, like, the guy who gets his hands cut off, like, it's completely an accident and could have happened to anybody. The guy with the eyes, like, his wife is the agent of that particular revenge, yeah. But now with Denham Elliott, before I get to it, Tom Baker's awesome in this scene. Yeah. When he comes in, and he's so gleeful and happy, like, look what I'm going to do to you. Ha ha!
Got this little red thing, and I'm going to mark your forehead.
Yeah, so he draws a little red hole in Denham Elliott's painting, and Denham Elliott has been waiting for him because the other guys, he knows that these accidents have been falling him, and he's waiting for Tom Baker to show up because the first thing he did was when he showed up was threaten them all.
Yeah.
Not the best move for a murderer.
Who did this? Definitely not the guy who threatened us when he showed up.
Yeah, exactly. So Denham Elliott has a gun. But as soon as Tom Baker draws the thing, Denham Elliott can't control himself and starts pointing the gun at his own self.
Which is dumb, because all it should have done was Tom Baker should have, like, had him shoot the picture by accident.
Yeah, or something.
And then he would have just been like, I'm dead now.
Yeah, it's a little bit not great.
He's just like, oh, what am I doing to myself? Like, I'm pointing the gun at myself. It's like, oh, god damn it. Really? That's what this is?
Yeah, and then...
It's a little cheese ball.
And then they've got this kind of clumsy setup where Tom Baker knows, because he has this portrait of himself, and he drew a little cut on the portrait's face, and then he ends up cutting himself in the exact same space. So he now knows that if any harm befalls his painting, he's going to experience the same thing. So he buys himself a safe, and then he locks the painting in it.
An airtight safe.
An airtight safe, yes, of course.
An airtight safe.
Did we say airtight?
It's an airtight safe.
There's no air in there.
Which means if you were...
So while he's with...
requiring to breathe...
Yeah, that's a little weird, too. A little weird. So while he's with Denham Elliott, and Denham Elliott ends up shooting himself, he's like... he starts gasping for air and realizes, at least, I gotta go get the painting out of there. I'm gonna suffocate, which he's able to do. Yeah. But he left his watch there. And you know what? I'm not mad at this device, because when he does it, he takes the watch off when he gets to Denham Elliott, and he puts it down and he goes, "You have 1 minute to live." It's so good.
This also feels a little convenient.
Right. So now he has to go get the watch.
He has to go back and get the watch.
Which doesn't make any sense, because who's going to tie that watch to him?
Exactly.
It's just a watch in the guy's room. Yeah. Guy obviously shot himself in the weirdest suicide of all time, where you put the pistol to your own forehead. Yeah. I mean, anyway.
There's powder burns all over his hands.
Yeah. Well, they would have known he did it.
No
yeah.
Shit.
So what's happening?
He's in the middle of the street.
Yeah, man. But as it so happens, the apartment he has rented has a glass ceiling, and above said glass ceiling is a billboard where a guy has paint remover. What's going to happen?
And the paint remover falls through the skylight, smashes onto the painting, and covers the painting in paint thinner. And then Tom Baker gets hit by a car
and gets his head run over. It's a great effect.
Yep. And that's the end.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I like it.
It's pretty predictable, though.
It's predictable as fuck, but Tom Baker's performance sells it, man.
Look at those eyes.
Yes, he's a. That's what I liked about him as Doctor Who. Like, I always got the sense watching that character that he was insane.
Yeah.
What they do in the show now. I'm sorry, we're digressing into Doctor Who now, but when the Doctor has a companion now, they're like his best friend, and if they're gonna leave, he's so sad, and he can't stand it. When Tom Baker became Doctor Who, they already had a companion. That was Sarah Jane. Now, she was a holdover from the third Doctor. She was an extremely popular character. I think she was with him for maybe 2 more seasons. Yeah. When she left, the episode where she leaves, she's like, "Well, Doctor, I'm going to go." He's like, "Okay."
Bye now.
Yeah, like not even acknowledging her.
You'll be back in the show in 30 years.
Yeah,
I promise.
She's like, "I'll see you later." She's like, "But Doctor," he's like, "Yes, there's the door. Bye." Like, that to me was such a good character.
The character in their entire
like have an entire episode based on them fucking saying their goodbyes and whatever. Like, ugh.
And so then this movie ends.
And then it doesn't? But how does it end?
They all go to a graveyard.
They're all in hell.
Where they disappear. One by one, and then Kurt Jurgens is not the one to disappear?
No, because I think he's the Vault Keeper.
Okay.
He looks nothing like the Vault Keeper.
I was going to say, sure. He looks nothing like the Crypt Keeper.
They could have maybe put a robe on him in the last shot. They cut back to him, and he's like,
"Man was me!"
Yeah.
Fucking not great.
There is a distinct lack of Joan Collins in this movie that automatically makes...
Peter Cushing.
Yeah, that makes the other one better. Okay. But this is a pleasant diversion.
Yeah.
It's like 90 minutes. Yeah. It's like...
And if you can find the original cut, even better. I would assume.
Yeah,
I wouldn't watch this version again.
No.
Nor should you.
Now that I know that there is a version.
Not
that
you, but like you, the listener.
No, I'm talking about me now.
Well, yeah, you probably shouldn't watch it either, knowing what you know now.
Yeah, man, now I'm just going to be bugged by it.
And you have a Blu-ray player, so you can play the Blu-ray.
I do. I need to get a remote control for that Blu-ray player.
I just like walking up to it and hitting the button?
Yeah, but I can't navigate around the menus.
You sure can you?
No!
You sure
it's a useless thing. I can play the feature and that's it. I'm looking for special features.
Amen. Play. Stop. Play. Stop. That's all you need.
Get out of here.
Kids today.
Listen.
Those VHSs didn't have special features. They were after the movie.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, occasionally. What you used to have to do is actually go do the work and find out how that movie was made.
Exactly.
No, now it's audio commentaries and Wikipedia pages.
This man is bitching about things that
God
he loves.
damn you children out there with the
bitching about things he loves now.
I love when people ask me anything and I realize that they have a device in their fucking hand already that has all the information on Earth.
Well, how did this, what now? Shut the fuck up. It's on your phone.
Go look it up, man. And don't go with the first page you come to as fact.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's a lie. Anyway, Vault of Horror.
Pretty good, but not great.
Pretty good, not great.
The original is better. The first movie.
Yes.
Tales from the Crypt. This
Definitely.
being further Tales from the Crypt.
Yes. As far as further Tales from the Crypt goes, I think you could have swapped a couple of these stories into the first movie.
The titles of the movie.
Yeah, the first one should be called Vault of Horror.
Yeah.
And it should have come out second.
Yeah.
And then there would have been a pleasant aftertaste.
Yeah, I don't know who thought this. Like, why call it Vault of... What I don't understand is, why call this Vault of Horror?
Instead of Tales from the Crypt Volume 2.
Or Further Tales from
Oy, ay.
Because they used a framing device in the first one with the Crypt Keeper. Or the Vault Keeper.
No, that was the Crypt Keeper. That was the Crypt Keeper.
Sure.
They should have had the old witch in this one. I'm sad that we didn't get
Kurt
to...
Jurgens is not an old witch?
He kind of could be.
Yeah, right.
I'm sad that there was not a trilogy and we didn't get the Witch's Cauldron.
Yeah, this movie's okay.
Yeah. Could have been better.
Yeah.
Was it better than the entirety of Season 2 of Tales from the Crypt, the HBO television series that this podcast is about?
Maybe.
Oh, it definitely is.
There are a lot of stinkers in Season 2.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of seasons of Tales from the Crypt, on the next episode of Chronicles...
Oh, my.
We're going to be talking about episode 1 and 2 of season 3, Loved to Death, and Carrion Death.
Well, of the two, one of those is real good.
Yeah.
That I remember.
And one of them is, I don't remember, but it's got Andrew McCarthy in it.
Oh, yes. I actually kind of like that one, too.
I don't remember it. I remember Carrion Death, but that's because it's Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, it's
because it's K-Mac.
It's like a one-man show, the Carrion Death.
Kyle MacLachlan. Like, he's amazing.
Who wrote and directed that one? It's like a famous... It's like Steven D'Souza or something like that, right?
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah!
And the first one was Tom Mankiewicz and Joe Minion.
Tom Mankiewicz, who wrote Superman
Yeah.
and The Man with the Golden Gun. Mank, as he's known in the industry.
Great.
He couldn't get a credit on Superman because they already had too many...
The original?
Yeah, because they had too many credited screenwriters. So if you look in the credits, it says creative consultant Tom Mankiewicz.
Oof.
He also wrote an early draft of a Batman movie because Warner Brothers was interested in doing that immediately because of the success of Superman. And if you read his script, oh my God, it's awful.
Well,
it's really, really bad.
And
everything that everyone hated about the 1966 television series, which now in retrospect is actually fun and totally appropriate for its time and place. But if you can imagine that on the big screen, but we're also supposed to be taking it seriously.
So Batman Forever. Or Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but if it had a more serious tone. If it was less jokey, but there were still gadgets and shit. Like
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, fantasy kind of nonsense with everyone with a straight face.
Less bat nipples and bat credit cards.
Yes.
But still goofy.
How much do you think that bat credit cards limit was?
I don't know. Frosty? That's all I know about Batman and Robin.
I hate it when they talk during the movie.
That movie's real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, until that episode, where can people find you?
They can find me right here in my house, which is where you are.
Find me in my house. Come find me.
Don't come find me. But
I
just want to say we've been doing this podcast for I don't know how long now, 6-7 years, and this is the first time we've actually recorded in the same room.
Oh, no.
It just feels like 6 or 7 years.
We've done this for 6 or 7 years. We are not far enough along, and we are clearly past Tales from the Crypt at this point.
Are we?
One episode.
Well, we are. We're doing Vault of Horror now.
One episode every 4 months.
Jesus Christ, that would be awful.
Yeah. Who else is still here listening? Wait for our next episode in 4 months.
Thank you, 3 listeners. You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. you can find me on my YouTube channel, Ot5Films, one word, OUGHTFIVEFILMS. I got a show called You've Never Seen, just an examination of movies that you've never seen, but you probably have, and you're just going to bitch about that. You can hear me there, or you can hear me on another podcast I co-host called Dreams for Sale, the Twilight Zone 85 podcast about the 1985 revival of the television series The Twilight Zone. You know, they really ought to redo that show, don't you think?
Boy, don't you think? Don't you think? Coming soon to a small screen pay-for-play service here.
Streaming.
Yeah, god damn it. And when I'm not here, you can find me on a little podcast I do called The Culture Cast, where I talk about movies. That's movies. Just movies.
Yeah.
Just movies.
Do you just do movies?
Just movies.
You don't do one about games?
No.
Video games?
Video. What do I look like?
A gamer.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Okay.
I do play video games, but we don't do a video game podcast. I'm also on another podcast with our friend Mike White called the Kolchak Tapes.
Mike White, whom I love, but apparently doesn't like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
If you're listening to this,
I know you're,
which you're not.
Mike, I know you're not listening to this, but Jesus Christ, man, get your shit together.
And yeah, you can find that over at kolchaktapes.com. Big thanks as always to John Kassir for the intro to this podcast. He's a cool dude.
I love John Kassir.
I might even say he's the Crypt Keeper.
What?
What?
He's involved with this?
Somehow, some way.
Where's my money?
Where's his money? Where's your money?
Yeah,
we ain't getting no money from this.
No, we're not.
Couple fucking schmeckles here and there. Drop a penny in the hat, sir, for some free entertainment. Oh my god. So yeah, and make sure to check out the next episode.